Good morning. Day 6. Another beautiful day. A little bit windy, but sunshiny, warmer. Very nice day. So I'm looking forward to being out in it. And I think today we might talk about healthy detachment and relinquishing control a little bit in our lives, because that's one thing I've struggled with. I'm often don't want to make a move if I can't control the outcome, and the truth is we never really can control the outcome of the things we do. So that's something I've been working on, and something I've been thinking about a little bit, especially kind of related to our talk about attachment and relationships yesterday, because that's one of the big things that happens with me in relationships, is that I get kind of focused on the outcome, like, oh well, if this relationship's not going to work out forever, then why even bother with it right now, and blah blah blah. So I think that'll be something we can talk about today, and maybe other things will pop up as the day goes on. But I'll look forward to chatting with you soon. Peace. Okay, about halfway through my day. It's been very nice, beautiful sunny day, and right now, it might be hard for you to tell, but I'm in front of a really pretty little lake forest area. I just ate my lunch, feeling good. So, you know what time it is. It might be time for a little bit of a smoke break. We're gonna go lighter than last time, because as much as I went light, could have gone lighter last time, and we all know I had me feeling a little burnt out and dull. So let's get this little smoke session, a few minutes, get back on the road, finish out the day, and then I'll have a chance to chat with you on my next week. Alright? Let's enjoy. Get back out there, finish up the day, and I'll chat with y'all soon. Alright. So that was my last stop. Done for the day. It's not even 6 o'clock yet, which is awesome. Got done pretty early today. Pretty easy route. Different. Never been in this town before. It was interesting. Much more rural, and everything was spaced out. So it was a lot of driving between stops, a lot of long driveways, and woodsy stuff. So it was nice. I enjoyed being more rural, and I enjoyed getting done a little earlier. I gotta go do my side job for a couple hours after this, wrap up a project I was doing there, and then, start the weekend. It'll be a nice time. Before I wrap up my work day and before I get out of this truck, I wanted to talk a little bit about healthy detachment and outcomes, I guess. Because often with decisions, I found myself so attached to the outcome that's really just a hypothetical that I get paralyzed by it. I don't know how to make the decision. I don't know how to even think about it sometimes because I'm thinking of all types of different possible outcomes. And oftentimes it leads to me either making a wrong decision or a rash decision or just not making the decision at all, I guess, offloading it onto somebody else or avoiding it if it's possible, It's kind of a mess, and that's kind of where this idea of detachment comes in. It's not that we shouldn't have desires or that we shouldn't have wants, but to be able to detach from them a little bit and still act not based on that feeling or that assumption of some outcome. Really acting while being detached from the outcome is ideal, because so often the outcome is much better than we anticipate, or not as bad even. And I saw some science to back this up, that our brains, when we hypothesize an outcome, if we're thinking it in the negative, that something bad's going to happen as a result, our brain actually releases the stress hormones and chemicals that would happen if you were to experience that event for real. And what's worse is that it's been shown that our brains actually release 2 to 3 times more of those hormones and stress chemicals than in the actual real situation. It's crazy. But the flip side of that is that when we hypothesize a positive outcome or something good happening, our brains don't release dopamine. It doesn't release the pleasure chemicals or the motivational chemicals that come with having positive outcomes or achieving something. So we really do have to learn how to be detached from our thoughts and our feelings and from our ideas, because they hold us back in so many ways. And I can think of plenty of circumstances where they've held me back. It's too bad, but being aware, building awareness around it, building awareness around your thoughts and thought patterns, around the way that you feel and the way that certain types of things or certain events make you feel. Having awareness of all this just gives us the tools to step back and say, hey, if it works out, that's great, but if it doesn't, that's great too. We got to just be detached from the outcome of it. And there is a fine line you have to walk here, because you can't just be like, oh, well, I know the outcome of cheating on my wife's going to be terrible, but let's just act without attachment to the outcome. Like, that's not the situation to use this type of shit. You can't be like, I know if I steal from my job, I'm going to get fired, but I'm just going to act detached from the outcome. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about that situation where you have to take a step in some direction, whether it's, do I take this job or this other job? Do I make this move to a different state? Do I ask this person out or end this relationship? Important life events that we often run away from or avoid because of difficult feelings surrounding them. Those are the times we need to learn to detach from the outcomes and detach from our feelings, because those are much more of a gray area when it comes to seeing the future, because we can never see the future, but if you cheat on your wife, it's going to be a disaster and it's going to be fucked up regardless of anyone else. It's the wrong thing to do objectively. And so I think you could all figure out what I mean when I always say you have to use this in the right situation, and if used properly, it can be a really good tool. So it's just something I'm working on. It's something that holds me down even in minor circumstances or in ways you might not imagine. Like, oh, I don't want to put myself out there to a group of strangers because what if they don't like me? That's outcome focused, not experience focused. Or I don't want to approach this woman or approach this man because what if they reject me? I don't want to go into this interview because what if I don't get accepted and that makes me sad? You know what I mean? Like all these situations where it's like we're avoiding the potential outcome that might make us feel bad. That's where I struggle the most. Even in relationships that I'm comfortable with, it's like, oh, I don't want to step over this line with someone in conversation in case they have a bad reaction. I don't want to, hold somebody accountable. That's a big one, because I have friends that I'm super close with that I know would not be upset if I held them accountable for things that they need, but I don't want to overstep and then have them have a bad reaction. I don't know. So you get what I'm saying. I don't need to pontificate, but it's always good to chat. I'm going to get my day wrapped up here, and we'll see you next week. This is the last day of my work week, and I have a few days off, so I'll work on editing these videos, getting them out, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again in a few days. All right, thanks so much. Good night.